Hey, what up? It's Austin back for video number 2 as promised. And what I want to do today is help you guys build your skill set with women and help take you all the way from simp to pimp. Now, I know you'll be able to derive a massive amount of value from this video, so let's dive in. So in the previous video, we uncovered some of the common misconceptions about the type of men that women find attractive. And we honed in on the type of guy that you need to be to have women chase you and switching from those externals to the internals. Now that you know the type of men women look for, you can start bringing your A game and get the results you want. And if you really just hone in and put your focus there, knowing that you can be internally yourself and get the women that you want, it takes all the pressure off of it, because we've been conditioned to think it's, Hollywood, it's got to be, the car, the alpha male, this or that. But really, it's just a guy that can create a great atmosphere for a girl and can just be confident and secure in himself. Remember, women are attracted by much more characteristics than men are, or just looks. When you are internally being true to yourself and amp up the vibe, you can create a better experience for yourself and the girls. Now that you've learned the basics, you can be congruent in yourself, knowing what place to come from and start to crush it. However, you're probably wondering, but Austin, will this be enough to keep the girl hooked? Focusing on the experience, is that enough? The answer is yes and no, which leads me to our next phase, or phase 2 of game. Now, most guys, as soon as they meet the girl, they over pursue, and this causes the date or the interaction to fizzle out or flake prematurely, leaving you wondering what happened when everything was going so well before. As you will find in game, nuances are key. By the time you get to the end of this video, it will all become crystal clear. So after you've had an interaction with the girl, say at a bar, house party, or out, and you've spoken to her for a while, most guys will think this is going well and continue to keep pushing the same button over and over, overwhelming that girl with the attention. What happens next is the girl feels pressured and then she flakes because it's just too much pressure on her. So you might say, but Austin, what do I do if I just met a woman out and I'm just trying to keep the interaction fun and lighthearted? Is that enough? What I do if I just met a woman out is just keep the interaction lighthearted and grab her number to set up a date later. Once I've done this, I only message her to set up the date, make a couple jokes, or keep things very lighthearted so that you don't run the risk of screwing things up. Which leads me into my first key of phase 2. Power of indifference is key. As you'll start to see when you date modern women, they do what I call as a thirst check or thirst trap during the beginning of the dating stage. Now, all you have to do is communicate to her that you are a guy that gets it. And if you are a take it or leave it kind of guy, this is what she's checking for. So the guys that fall into this trap, they usually, they'll text the girl all day long, or they'll try to go out of their way to set up multiple dates, and it just comes across as needy, and over pursuing is just not attractive. So they do this thirst check as like a temperature gauge to check to see your interest level in them. And it's tricky, but once you begin to realize that they check you in this way, it becomes a lot easier. The nuances are just sometimes harder to see until you really go through these experiences. A lot of this I had to learn through trial and error, so I've been through all this myself. And we all are coming from different sticking points, so we have to all start somewhere. So don't let it get you down if this has happened to you. But really uncovering the keys is going to be what helps you guys stand out from, the other guys. Now, if she does turn down your advances when you ask her out on a date, she may just be trying to gauge your reaction to test if you're a needy guy versus a guy who gets a lot of women. And so a lot of times if you text a girl asking her out on a date, I've had girls come back to me after a week that said no, but and because I went cold and non-needy, they say, "Well, what about this day the following week?" So sometimes it's just a game, and you just have to be very careful how you play it. This allows women to play the game, and she'll think you're a big catch because if you pass this test, you'll that will communicate to her that you get a lot of women, and a lot of guys, this is where they screw up, but the successful ones all pass this test. Now, the reason indifference is critical to game is because women want a challenge more than men. Even if you play it cool and have a whatever mentality, this will help. She will continue to be curious on where you stand with her. But even more importantly, key number two, it's maybe the most important piece of knowledge in this video, is let her earn you and never go weak for her. As soon as a woman sees that you have weakness, she will flake on you and leave. This took me a few trial and errors to figure out. And once you see the nuance here, you'll really be able to tell why these girls flake. I wondered at these times like what happened or what went wrong, but you know, um, back in back in the early days when I was starting out, sometimes you find a girl that you feel like, oh, this one's different, or you really click, and you just put out that needy vibe or that over communicating that you're just, fully sold on her. And whenever you do this, women want a challenge, so they really think that, oh, if you're all in for this girl, then they think that's the best you can do. And so it's funny. I remember when I was at the pool a long time ago, there was a group of us, and there was this girl. I remember her. She was asking me what I thought of her friends, and two of them were like kind of cute, but like I don't know. I just wasn't really into them, or I didn't know them that well, so I just didn't really care. But I just jokingly and teasingly said, made jokes, and it's funny. Those two girls both gave me a date later, or wanted to kind of see where things went because I communicated that I thought I could do better. So that just made them want me that much more. So you just never want to go weak for them though, because those thirst checks, that shows to them your interest level. That's the challenge for men. You just can't oversell or can't over communicate your interest, and as soon as you do, you will lose her 100% of the time. You just want to have fun and be yourself and lean into your own personality while you're with the woman, and just never let her think that she's got you in the palm of her hand. So now that you know women thirst check you because they want to see your interest level in her, you will be better equipped in not taking the bait and risk losing the girl. Women want to feel safe and protected all the time. So this is where the weed out process comes for needy guys, and the other part is being a challenge. And the way you do this is communicating your interest but not overdoing it. Women want to feel like they had to earn you. So the best way to allow them to do this is to show them your unique personality and charisma and to show them interest. But again, I'm gonna repeat this 2 times because it's so important. Don't overdo it. Now, my next key is don't be outcome dependent. Most of the time when guys are starting off, they're very rigid and pursue women thinking like the more I do, the better my results. Or like poker, just go all in, and you'll have like you'll win the lottery type outcome. But when women are not wired that way, so the best thing you can do when you are working out your dating life is go out, and when you come back the next day, write down the pros and cons, and you will get very good with women if you can figure out what went right versus what went wrong. Um, this allows you to um, have a foundation of where you are as far as game and where you're going. Also, knowing what you want sets a clear tone for the girl to know how she can fit in with you. So, being true to yourself and having that confidence will allow her to fit in like the passenger role. Back when I was starting out, I would go out to the bars and I just had an attitude of let's see what happens. Funny enough, this was actually a good place to come from, and I had moderate success doing so because it was lighthearted and happy go lucky. The reason I say this and to write down your sticking points is so that you know what to shoot for the next time. However, this can be a paradox because, on one hand, you know what you want, then you have to let go of the outcome. I've seen a lot of guys get stuck on just wanting the girl or the girlfriend, and they pursue her in a way that is needy and backfires. So, that being said, know what you want, but then let go of any outcome dependency you can have when you go out. This will make your results increase drastically. Just continue to show them your unique personality and charisma and show interest. But if they decline your advances, just let the ball be in their court and, stop communication and see if they come back. And if they do, you can start something up. But if not, you're better off just finding another girl with a higher interest level. Just know all these skills apply to women, so you will see massive results when you breadcrumb your efforts instead of trying to hammer them. Women don't like to be put in a situation where they have to choose or have an ultimatum. So if you ever pursue and you try to force them, don't be surprised if, when forcing them to make a decision on you, that 90% of the time when you do that, they default uh, to turning you down. So putting it all together, keep things lighthearted and congruent is phase one. Phase two is being non-needy, indifferent, being the challenge, and most importantly, letting her earn you or win you over. And now that we have gotten a lot of basics out of the way and build on some of the intermediate foundations, you can go out and start gaining massive success. Also remember, what one man can do, another man can do. If you feel stuck, just start. And we all have different sticking points, and the only way to get really good is to put in your dues. This is Austin signing off, and we'll see you guys next time.